mom, I think about the older, people. They're always vulnerable to something like that. And that's a good point there. Make sure, just call the power company yourself.
Yeah, that's a
and
good
make
idea.
sure and find out.
Double check. Like my dad called me once. He said, "Did you call your grandma in an emergency that you needed to send her money?" And I said, "No."
Oh.
Luckily, my grandma was savvy enough to be like, "This isn't right." So she
Yeah.
called my dad.
Yeah.
Pretty smart. Anyway.
Scary.
Here's a look at some air quality issues that we're having out there tonight. Here is our air quality index, and you can see moderate showing up out there. Now, this is probably for a couple of reasons. First of all, we do have some wildfire smoke that has snuck on up from the south, from fires in Southern California and also in Baja, Mexico. But also in Santa Cruz County, it's been cold at night, so a lot of times in like the San Lorenzo Valley, for example, there are folks that use wood to heat their homes, and some of that air and smoke does collect in the valley there. So probably a combination in that location. But some wildfire smoke is up in the area, so if you are sensitive to smoke, you may have some issues into the day tomorrow. Plus, as my wife reminded me today, everything seems to be blooming outside. And while I don't have any active pollen data to share with you, that might be irritating you too. There's flowers on trees all over the place because, it was 70 some degrees across the region today. Wildfire smoke probably hanging around through tomorrow, maybe even a little bit into Saturday before it does kind of filter out. So might still be somewhat irritable to you if you are sensitive, just something to keep in mind. You know what else is coming Saturday? Hopefully some rainfall. We do still have high pressure and control over us. It is shrinking and moving to the south. And a weather system beginning to push south through the jet stream here will develop in the Great Basin and then move back to the south and west toward us and sit over us Sunday or Saturday into Sunday. And as it does so, it will help destabilize the atmosphere and get some showers to develop. There's not a lot of moisture with this system, and that is typically the case when systems come from the north or the east. We don't have a lot of moisture. It's not like it's coming directly in off of the water, but it will be enough to help generate a few showers. And here's how that's going to play out. This is the new model run to share with you tonight. It actually looks a little more interesting, so get excited, I suppose, if you live around the bay. Tomorrow, no rain expected, but we'll have a few high clouds passing through at times, and then maybe tomorrow evening, a few low clouds arriving on shore. Tomorrow will be cooler overall with winds a little bit more onshore than offshore. Like today, we had pretty good offshore flow early in the day, and then it switched onshore, cooled us off a touch. But by 6 o'clock Saturday morning, we'll be in low clouds and maybe even a little bit of foggy drizzle. So we'll definitely see the return of some moisture. Now, the atmosphere will start to destabilize Saturday afternoon, so we'll see some clouds build up as that happens. And then by 2 or 3 o'clock, we have some showers developing. We see them popping up across the region. These showers will kind of stay in place, and they should be pulse type showers, meaning that they're not going to move all that far. So the actual updraft of the storm develops, and then it collapses on itself instead of moving someplace else and continuing to propagate. Now, they may move a little bit, but ultimately these should be pretty short-lived cells. But they could produce brief, moderate showers, some teeny tiny hail, and maybe, just maybe, even a rumble of thunder. It certainly will be possible. This is 6 p.m. Saturday. A few showers out there. Lisa will be live on the air just before this, showing you what's going on. So make sure to tune into her on Saturday evening if golf doesn't mess up with that. And then as we look into Sunday, showers will continue across the region. So Saturday and Sunday, looking at some shower activity. Future precip is showing some totals, and it's not like a nice soaking cold front coming through, but enough that it maybe will wet the ground and keep fire danger down at least for a little while. So that is some good news. On top of that, as I mentioned, it's also going to be quite cold, so we could see some snow on the mountains. Future snowfall is showing some totals up in the Santa Lucias and also the Diablo Range. So we'll be keeping an eye on that for you as well. Right now, temperatures are in the 40s, kind of cooling off out there. Overnight tonight, we'll see lows that will be seasonal to slightly cool, and skies will stay clear for the most part through the overnight hours. But tomorrow, as I mentioned, will be a little bit cooler across the board. We'll start in Santa Cruz County. Talk your temperatures tomorrow. We'll be down into the low 30s still in some of the valleys with some patchy frost still possible. Highs in the upper 60s still tomorrow. Santa Cruz proper, you're going to get into the mid 60s tomorrow. Same in Capitola with lows in the low 40s. On the east shore of the bay, upper 30s for your lows. Highs back in the low to mid 60s. Salinas back to 68 tomorrow. Same in Gilroy. Mid 30s for your lows in our northern valleys. Hollister, you top out at 67. On over to the peninsula, lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. Highs mostly in the low 60s tomorrow, which is seasonable. And then down south, we do still have a frost advisory for Greenfield and southward in the Salinas Valley. King City 31 overnight, 23 in Bradley. And then highs still finding the low 70s in our southern valleys tomorrow afternoon. 7-day forecast for Coastal City showing a huge cool down. So we go from 70s today to low 50s on Saturday. Shower chances Saturday, Sunday. We should dry out by Monday, but still somewhat cool next week. Mornings will be cold, afternoons will be cool. I'm not seeing a big warm up immediately. Inland areas also showery, blustery this weekend. Chilly temperatures, highs in the low 50s by Sunday. We'll warm up a little bit, but only to seasonal normals next week.
All right, so finally feeling like winter this week.